Hi, I'm Ron Polk. This is part 3 in the awesome rolling toolbox. Last time I gave you a tour of my new trailer and why I chose it, and now today I'm going to survey my tools, take some notes, and get ready to begin the design process in SketchUp. What I'll do here is, and when I say survey my tools, what I mean is I want to figure out the tools that need a specific place. These are going to be the larger tools. The overall design will always be modular. Things change, I invest the time and energy in a trailer like this, and I get new tools. I want to be able to have a spot to put those tools. If I get rid of some tools, I want to be able to reuse those spaces. So all of the cabinetry will be screwed together and screwed in place. I won't use any glue or nails, just lots of screws so that I can, 5 years from now, if I get some new or different tools, I can take it apart and adjust it to fit what I'm doing. Beyond that, I also make a lot of the designs of the boxes that I build are modular themselves, within themselves. In other words, I have some cubbies that I build for nail guns and a lot of the power tools, the smaller power tools that just kind of nest in there. And those I have adjustable dividers that I will set up ahead of time, slots at a certain spacing, like 2 inches apart, so that I can move the divider. It can be at 2 or 3 inches, or it can be 4 or 6, depending on the spacing I decide. And a larger tool, I can just use up more space, and then smaller, and if I want to move tools around, it's just moving those sliders. They're not screwed in, they're not glued in, they're just pull out and push back in. That concept has been proven for me, and it works excellent. And it's nice, not only if I get new tools or replace tools, but a lot of times after I'm working out of a trailer, I decide that I'd rather have this tool down here and these down there. It's just more efficient, so I can move them around quite easily and sort of dial it in as I use it. And generally, too, I'd like to say, in some of my designs, I've had people mention in comments, oh, the tools are going to fall out and you need to strap this down, tie this down, lock this down. I don't do that. I use gravity as my friend. I do not believe in locking things down or bunging things down. The harder it is, number one, I want to have the tools with me, so I use them, and I want them readily accessible, so I just put my hand on it and take it onto the job. That's another reason I don't use boxes. There's a lot of great boxes out there that are custom fit for your tools. But as we go through my tools, you see how many I have. If I had those in individual boxes, I would need a trailer 5 times this size. I'm able to nest the tools in, and also when I grab a nail gun or grab a screw gun or grab a router, it's there ready for me to grab and use. It's not pulling a box out, opening the box, getting the tool out. Now there's a few tools that I do put in boxes. One with lots of miscellaneous parts and pieces that it makes more sense to keep it in that. But out of hundreds of tools, I might have 5 that I keep in an individual box. So now we'll kind of start surveying, and I'll show you what I'm thinking. I'll just walk around with the camera and show you what I'm thinking. I won't make the notes right now, but I'll be going back through with a yellow notepad, and I'll be writing down dimensions and notes and things that are kind of the crucial points of I'm going to design from the big to the small and go from there. So let's go take a look at the tools. First and foremost are my portable workbenches. This is my number 1 bench. This one gets used on every job and gets set up just about every time. So this is the total station. It is 3 feet by 6 feet, and it's 10 inches deep. It is my table saw stand, my table saw outfeed, my miter stand, and it is my router table as well. Now, when I designed this bench, everything that goes with it other than the tools, so the supports for the table itself, the supports for the extensions, everything fits inside of the bench itself. So all I need to do on planning for this is to make a space that I can fit a 3 foot by 6 foot box. Everything else, nothing protrudes outside the surface, and everything fits inside as far as the bench is concerned. The other thing I'm planning on doing is I'm going to build another one of these, and I'm going to make it for framing, so it's going to be built out of materials that work well in the rain and the snow. I'm also going to build it for a Milwaukee 12-inch slide saw. I don't feel the need to use the high-end precision of the Festool Capex for framing. My Capex saw will never be used for framing. That's strictly a finish saw and the way it's going to stay. So I will design a bench for that other saw, as well as the table saw I'll be using will be my older DeWalt table saw there. So it'll be the one hanging off of the framing table. The one thing I will do with that bench, I need to be able to cut repetitive cuts of longer materials. If I'm framing 10-foot walls, I want to be able to do repetitive cuts. So I'm going to make that bench the 3 feet wide like this and the 10 inches deep like this, but I'm going to make it 8 feet long, which will give me extensions that are additional 8 feet on either side, and I'll make those fit inside. So I'll plan on that. And then I have my workbench, my main workbench. This is, since I've built the total station, this one now functions primarily as an additional outfeed and table saw support, but it primarily is for breaking down plywood. I use my crosscut jig on this. It's kind of a portable panel saw. And I also use it as a clamping table and for assembly. When I'm doing mantles and big bookcases and stuff, it's really nice to have this table completely freed up. That being said, I want to plan for the future. If I ever replace this bench, and I'm not planning on doing it anytime soon, I'm going to build it exactly as you see it, except I'm going to make it 10 inches deep like the total station. I'm just finding that extra height allows me to put a little bit larger hand tools inside, and I'm finding that to be very handy. Additionally, the supports for this bench will not fit inside because this is a two-part bench. They're only 2 feet wide, so I'm unable to fit the sawhorses in. So I'll plan on those changes in the future, so I'll have a little more space in the trailer than I actually need for these tools when I first build it, but I will be future-proofed for the direction I think I want to go. Additionally, I look at my larger tools. I'm going to have a couple of table saws. I am going to have the miter saw. I'm going to have the future miter saw, the Milwaukee 12-inch slider. I can get dimensions on that. I am going to have long tools. I'm going to have all of my levels. I am going to have this series of tools you see here are long, and they take special consideration, as well as my brooms and other things that may take some space. Then I'll need room for my compressor. This compressor here I'm going to keep in the shop, and I'm going to purchase one of the wheelbarrow twin tank compressors. I find that with these compressors work great, but they pull really hard on the amperage and will break circuits pretty easy. And I found those big wheelbarrows, they have a solenoid soft start, and they will start with the weakest 15 amp circuit. So I'm going to plan on a wheelbarrow compressor when I design my spaces. My compressors remain in the trailer. I don't bring them onto the job. I use a hose reel with an air compressor hose, so I'll mount that on the wall by the compressor so that my compressor can stay in place, stays in better shape, and also it's just heavy to move around. I also have my planer that I'll want a spot for, as well as 3 to 4 vacuums. So I've got my Festool, my Fine, and then my shop vac. So I want to have those in there in a place for them. And then you'll see I have these bins. The bins are simply being used to organize my tools. I bought these just to unload my truck. So they're all labeled from the drawers and stuff they came off of. So all of the stuff in these bins will need to fit in the trailer. But I won't consider those in the design. I'm not going to be that specific. I'm going to have adjustable shelves and drawers that I can make any size. And so, again, being very modular, I don't want to build drawers so custom they only fit certain things. So I won't consider all those, just accept the quantity. I have these bins with nails, supplies that I'll need to have some area for glue, nails, sandpaper, all those consumables that I want to make sure I have plenty of with me and not having to run to the store. I have a bunch of power tools. hand-sized power tools. Each of those will have a cubby. You can see there's just shelves and shelves of tools, and so I'll want to be able to have all of those with me as well. I have more materials that I want to have with me. There's finish nails and chalk and glue and screws and all of those kind of things. So again, making space for all of that. I do have some tools I won't be taking with me. When I'm painting, I pretty well haul the paint stuff to the site. That's all I'm doing for a couple of days if I'm painting exterior or interior. And again, this is over, and there's my tile saw. Same thing. I don't do tile on a regular basis. When I'm doing tile, I'll bring the stuff in my pickup or put it in the aisleway of the trailer and take it for that specific job. And again, all of these bins here, this is all paint supplies and tile supplies and those kind of things. They just stay in the shop, and I just grab the whole bin and put them in the truck when I need them. And then also I have some larger tools like my wall jacks and my planking and my ladders. Those are things I don't use on a regular basis, just when I'm framing, so I'll just haul those to the job and leave them on the job until it's done. That's a survey of what I got to fit, all this stuff, efficiently, organized, easy to use in this 7x14 trailer. It's going to be a challenge, but I'm up for it. So there you have it. I've surveyed my tools. I know the direction I'm going to be going with, at least generally. I'll work out the bugs in SketchUp, most of the bugs. I'll finalize working out the bugs in the field when I build things. If it's not right, I'll take it apart and rebuild it. So hopefully you've learned something here, and thanks for taking the time to watch. Have a great day.